You've been lied to. Not maliciously, not intentionally, but lied to nonetheless. 7 years, maybe more, you've been consuming content. Stoicism, philosophy, life advice. You've watched countless videos, read endless quotes, and felt that little flicker of wisdom ignite. You felt smarter, more in control. But then Monday morning rolls around and that feeling is gone. The anxiety, the frustration, the old habits, they're all still there. Why? Let's be precise. This isn't about those other channels. It's about what happened to your nervous system while you were watching them. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Confine yourself to the present." He didn't write that for a morning email list or to be quoted over slow-motion footage of forests. He wrote it at 4 in the morning, under immense pressure, before commanding a Roman army. It was a physiological instruction, a way to regulate a nervous system under extreme load. He was installing an operating protocol, not just performing wisdom. Here's what neuroscience now confirms, something the Stoics knew from experience 2,000 years ago. Your brain has a reward mechanism called epistemic dopamine. It fires when you learn something new. The same chemical signal you get from food, from social validation, from physical pleasure, also fires when you acquire new information. And this is where the problem starts. The philosophy content industry, driven by algorithms, accidentally discovered how to trigger this dopamine hit without creating any real change in your life. You watch a video, you feel wiser, you close the tab, and you come back tomorrow for another hit. After years of this cycle, your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, feels like it has a PhD in philosophy. But your amygdala, that deep, primal part of your brain that actually runs your reactions, your freeze response, your 2 a.m. spirals, your people-pleasing, your inability to hold a boundary. Your amygdala is exactly where it was the day you first subscribed. Why? Because the amygdala doesn't respond to content. It doesn't care how many quotes you know. It responds to repetition, to discomfort, to embodied practice. It responds to that critical moment when you choose to act differently, even when every nerve in your body is screaming to fall back into old patterns. Content can't reach it. Only intervention can. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus made a distinction that you won't see on a motivational poster. He described 2 types of students. The first studies philosophy, quotes it fluently, and discusses it intelligently at dinner parties. They feel a genuine sense of progress with each new book or video. The second type of student lives it. They get uncomfortable. They fail. They adjust. They get even more uncomfortable. They fail differently. They adjust again. They repeat this process until the philosophy isn't something they know. It's something their body just does. Epictetus had a name for that first type. He didn't call them a philosopher or a student. He called them a performer of philosophy. So after 7 years of consuming recycled Stoic content, you are, with clinical precision and not cruelty, a very well-educated performer. The philosophy is in your head, but your nervous system has never been touched. And the channels that built empires in this space, they were never equipped to touch it. Not a channel with 4,000 videos, but no real structure for transformation. Not a channel that jumps from Stoicism to Buddhism to dating advice, chasing whatever the algorithm rewards that week. Not a philosophical vending machine cranking out ancient listicles, because the formula still gets views. They gave you the philosophy. They never offered the installation. And the tragedy isn't that they failed you. The tragedy is that you didn't notice, because the feeling you got from the video was so good. It felt exactly like real change. Stoicism 2.0 starts with a truth the ancients knew and modern content has ignored. You cannot install a Stoic operating system into a dysregulated nervous system. It's impossible. You can read Seneca every single morning for 9 years and still lose your temper with your partner before noon. You can recite the dichotomy of control while being completely controlled by a text message that hasn't arrived. You can know the philosophy deeply and fluently and live none of it. Because philosophy doesn't operate in your cortex. It operates in your body. It's in your breath pattern. It's in that half second between a trigger and your response. It's in what your shoulders do when someone challenges you. It's what your chest does when you feel unseen. Marcus Aurelius didn't just understand Stoicism, he drilled it. At dawn, at night, in the middle of grief, in the middle of war. He used it as a nervous system regulation practice, installed through repetition, not passive consumption. Something is shifting. People like you, who have been in this space for years, are starting to feel the gap. The gap between the insight from the video and the reality of your life. The gap between the quote you saved and the behavior you couldn't change. That gap is not your failure. That gap is the distance between content and intervention. We don't close it with more content. We close it with precision. So, here are 3 ways forward. Take the one that meets you where you are right now. If you're still stuck in that consumption cycle, if you can quote Epictetus, but your nervous system still runs the show, start here. Click the link in the description for your free nervous system audit. It costs nothing to find out what's broken. We'll diagnose the leak, and you can decide if you want the blueprint to fix it. If you've been with us for a while, if you already feel that distinction between understanding and truly embodying, then the Oscillator Blueprint was built for this exact moment. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Stay. But understand one thing clearly before you subscribe. We are not your next Stoic channel. We are the last one you'll ever need. This is the Stoic Quotient. This is Stoicism 2.0. We train nervous systems, not timelines. This was not content. This was an intervention. Thanks for watching.